1866. The Great Plains were heavy with tension.
For the Lakota, this land was sacred.
Ite Oyate Tar, the Buffalo Nation. Resting place of ancestors, their cultural and spiritual lifeline. Then came the United States, hungry for gold, wood, and land. The Bozeman Trail, a red wound through the sacred Black Hills.
The destruction of the nomadic life had begun. The herds dwindled. Their way of life threatened.
In the gathering darkness, one name echoed: Red Cloud.
Not the only leader, but the one with the vision to unite them.
He forged a fragile alliance into a unified force.
This was not just a skirmish. It was a final stand.
A desperate battle for survival.
To defend their existence against a rising empire.
This is the story of Red Cloud's war.
A tragic chapter written in blood and gunpowder.
Where the courage of the defenders shook a nation.
Fort Laramie, 1851. A promise of peace. Lines drawn on paper, borders defined. But paper meant nothing to the hunger for gold.
The 1860s brought a surge of settlers. Miners, soldiers, and fortune seekers flooded in.
The Bozeman Trail, an open wound. Cutting through the heart of the buffalo hunting grounds.
Red Cloud witnessed the devastation.
He understood their weakness, division.
He knew they had to unite or perish.
June 1866, a gathering near the Tongue River.
U.S. diplomats arrived to negotiate.
They sought permission to build forts along the Bozeman Trail.
Red Cloud rose to speak.
You speak of peace, but bring only chains.
His eyes like burning coals.
The translation through the white and red intermediaries is:
You come here to take everything.
You build your roads on the bones of our ancestors.
You bring noise and disease. We have given much. We have given too much. This Bozeman Trail is not a road. It is a knife to our throats. For the Horash, he refused any agreement.
The U.S. delegation retreated in frustration.
Red Cloud declared, "Our alliance stands firm."
The Lakota, Cheyenne, Arapaho alliance was ready for war.
The U.S. Army continued to build.
They dismissed native opposition.
Four forts were built along the Bozeman Trail. Fort Reno, Phil Kearny Smith, and C.F. Smith.
Fort Phil Kearny, the largest.
Built hastily, it was a clear symbol of occupation.
Located in the best hunting grounds.
Winter 1866, a time for planning.
The Native Americans prepared to strike.
Small raids targeted supply wagons and isolated soldiers.
The goal, to demoralize and deplete the enemy.
But the big battle, the decisive blow, was yet to come.
Red Cloud knew needed a victory to force Washington to reconsider.
December 1866, soldiers left Fort Phil Kearny to gather wood. Wood gathering became a frequent target.
Lieutenant Colonel Fetterman ordered to pursue the attackers.
Fetterman had 80 elite cavalry and infantry.
Red Cloud and the leaders studied the white soldiers. They recognized their weaknesses, contempt, and the desire for quick victory.
This battle was no accident. It was a carefully laid trap.
Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho warriors pretended to retreat.
Crazy Horse and High Wolf commanded the field.
Fetterman and his men pursued, deeper into the valley.
The Valley of Death, an ambush waiting to happen.
Fetterman realized it was a trap.
Hundreds of warriors emerged from the hills.
Let the attack!
The battle was swift and brutal.
Fetterman tried to form a defensive square. The pressure was too great.
Native American warriors used speed and deception.
A wordless order went out. Diverse professionals simultaneously look up from their screens, an unspoken directive understood. Don't let anyone survive.
The battle raged for an hour.
In 1 hour, it was over.
All 81 men were dead. They were stripped of their weapons. And the bodies were dealt with according to Native American tradition.
News of the Fetterman Massacre sent shockwaves across the East.
It was not a skirmish. It was total annihilation.
People realized these tribes were organized.
Red Cloud had achieved his goal. The Bozeman Trail was not inviolable.
1867, the war escalated.
Red Cloud turned to guerrilla warfare.
Strike and fade became their tactic.
They sabotaged infrastructure.
Supply convoys were constantly targeted.
The constant presence of the enemy gnawed at the soldiers.
The forts became isolated outposts.
Crazy Horse was a master of terrain.
He moved like the wind.
In Washington, D.C., outrage subsided.
We cannot sustain this expenditure.
But withdrawal is not an option.
The cost of the war was enormous.
Millions of dollars spent, countless lives lost.
Was the Bozeman Trail worth the cost of a war?
Peace advocates argued for a negotiated settlement.
The military refused to yield.
Summer 1867, the Alliance decided to flex their muscles.
1,000 warriors surrounded Fort Smith. The fort held thanks to its defenses and the firepower of the Gatling gun.
The siege proved they could lock down the fort.
Those inside Fort Smith lived in constant fear.
Trolls were ambushed just outside the fort's reach.
The sense of isolation weighed heavily.
This war was not about grand battles, but about
the constant erosion of spirit and material.
For the Native Americans, they were defending their home.
Stalemate forced a change in policy.
The administration realized the Bozeman Trail was a costly failure.
1868, a new delegation arrived at Fort Laramie.
They sought a treaty to end the war.
Red Cloud, the symbol of resistance, was invited. But Red Cloud delayed. The army faced supply shortages.
Red Cloud finally agreed to attend in the fall of 1868.
The Treaty of Fort Laramie was a victory. An official recognition of their military power. The treaty included the end of the Bozeman Trail.
The U.S. agreed to withdraw from the three forts.
Lakota territory was expanded.
The government agreed to provide aid.
Red Cloud had won.
He forced the U.S. to respect their territory.
The withdrawal was a historic moment.
Native American warriors approached the abandoned fort.
They burned it to the ground!
Red Cloud led his people to peace through war.
He used unity and guerrilla tactics.
Red Cloud became a diplomat.
The Red Cloud's war was unique.
It was the only war where Native Americans won strategically.
The U.S. had to recognize a territory and withdraw.
But this victory came at a price.
Gold was found in the Black Hills.
The government broke the treaty.
Another chapter of war began.
Red Cloud achieved safety on the Bozeman Trail.
When pushed to the brink, the defenders can change the world.
There roar across the Great Plains
Still echoes.
A reminder of courage and sacrifice.
the end.